What's happening? Kyle Postleweight, aka Melker, here at Big Kitty Games. Sorry for not streaming yesterday. I've got my space goggles on to hide the bags under my eyes. We had a total gale, windstorm over here that kept me up all night. I had to go to bed at like 1 p.m. and get like 3 hours of sleep after it all died down. It was crazy. Let's see, I didn't actually push this last night. Pushed some changes to the character controller, and it sounds like I might have messed up some of the velocity math. And I was definitely messing with that stuff. And Stu, that has reported it for us, knows what he's talking about. So I'm going to peek at version control here. And I want to get that just sorted out so I can push that up and we can move on to some bug fixes. Didn't get to really look at the bug tracker very much yesterday, which I try to do on Tuesdays. So let's see here though. We've got this guy. It controls the velocity. I did change all of this completely. Here we've got 1 being forward. Here we've also got 1 being forward. Now I wonder if I didn't change the game settings always run a little bit. That might explain what Stu's talking about here. Anyway, let's switch to beta. Well, no, let's not switch to beta. So I'm gonna just do a little test. The math looks like it's the same. Let's see. Prior to that would be this guy, but Stu's played this patch as well. This should be all the math right here. Excuse me a second. What's happening, Goofy? And the math does look like it's going from 1 to 1, so I'm assuming that that is not the case. So anyway, let's just see if we can't do a little run test of some sort. Yeah, what's happening, Goofy? I'm gonna run. Oh, I am quite slow, aren't I? Huh, that's weird. I do look very slow. It actually, when you're just looking at the animation, doesn't look that bad, but that's definitely slower than it used to be. Interesting. So what has changed that? Like I say, I'm looking at the source control here. And I'm not big into copying stuff, no. I did do some tutorials when I started out, but most of this is all written by myself. The one I'm actually working on right now is not written by me. It's heavily modified by me, but this is for sale on the asset store, Easy Character Movement. Pretty good little script. Actually, it's a number of different scripts. So there's nothing having it anywhere. This is the actual, this is handling input. I'm pretty sure that's the guy that's adding velocity though. I don't do any of that myself. I only mess with the animator. Oh, you just got to get in the habit of starting fresh. Whenever you make a script, just start a new one and write it yourself. I like to do comments. So like, you know, say you've got a new script and you say void setup. Then you say, first we need to initialize the AI. Second, we need to spawn the monsters. Third, we need to, you know, whatever. I go through and write out what it is I need to do so I know what I'm doing it, then go through those one at a time and that kind of stuff. What's happening, StopNut? I do definitely look slower. But again, this doesn't actually even reference the rigid body. None of this should, just this guy. And he is... I think this is actually even older. Let's go one step further back. Or two? No, there's no way it's two back. No, that's the only place I've changed it. Doesn't look like I'm messing with the speed anywhere. If you don't know how to make what you want, that's where you gotta learn. But that's not a problem. You just gotta look it up, figure out how to do it. That's what Google's for. So let's see, I've stopped that. I'm just gonna do a quick peek. And a bunch of errors, that's weird. Error loading facility 35. And a bunch of times. Well, clearly I have messed a number of things up. Let's see though. Yeah, see, I'm definitely like twice as fast here, but I'm not using root motion. So is that what's going on here? It's actually trying to apply root motion as well. Man, I look silly running around like this. They have gotten a lot better, but I mean, long story short, it can just turn those numbers up. I wonder if that is what's going on though. Is it? Let's see if I can't check the player. Character movement, custom character controller. No, not what I was looking for. So I have intentionally turned off root motion on a number of those animations. Let's see what happens if I turn root motion back on for one of those. So let's see, that's going to be third party. I bought Dynamic Sword Anim Set pack for a pretty penny. I'm using the in place. Ones, for example, like this. It's got root motion node set to none. I can actually change that in runtime, so let's do that. Like I say, I'm just not much of an animation dude. Being forced to learn about it now. So you can see already the player looks a lot better moving around. But let's see, and I want to do an attack and then a move. And I might even run equip. I am using that, and I just turned on root motion, and it doesn't seem to be much different. I should be messing with the normal one, not the arm tree. Let's look at this one. This guy's still using the standard asset. It's not going to take me to it. Well, I know where it is. This guy, and he is not using and he's getting stuck when I open this up. That's interesting. Just gonna make it daytime real quick here. So I'm gonna put my sword away, and we are definitely moving way too slow. It's funny, I didn't notice that. So this is the run we're using. I'm going to turn boot transform motion on. It likes to put me in a different tree for some reason when I do that. Put my weapon away, go back here. Yeah, that's not what we're trying to do. Alright, well, let's just turn the speed up a little bit. We do actually have straight up speed settings, I believe. Max move speed 10. That's a bit based off of our stats, though. Well, that one looked great. Oh, now it is fixed. Interesting. This is more like how fast we're supposed to be. What changed? I clicked on my guy, opened this up, I moved this back to be not brute motion. Oh, now we're back to being slow. Interesting. And if I click on Malcare again, we're now back to being fast again. What is going on with that? Is it serializing these stats for some reason? That doesn't make any sense. Why that would affect the player speed. Well, I know nobody likes to see me get confused on live camera, but here we are once again. When I have the player selected in the Unity Inspector, he runs twice as fast than when I don't have him selected. Because that makes total sense, of course. Well, like I say, what it's using is this number here, max move speed. Auto run, I was going to ask you that, if that was the problem with, oh, you're saying the auto run key? For me, it's this guy. It should be this guy. It's not doing anything. I'm pretty sure it's mouse. Something or another for me. I've got an R. And it's not doing anything. I did not mess with that. Okay, well, let's look at the speed first. Well, actually, auto run should be really quick and easy. Believe that's going to be player input. If the player does auto run and they're not dead, auto run should switch to auto run. I know I did actually set that to turn off somewhere, didn't I? If forward, yeah, that's set it to false. If backward, set it to false. That's only if you get the keys down. That makes sense. That's only after updating the input through there, so that's fine. Forward true. Yeah, this needs to be back here though. That would interrupt that, so that should be fixed now, I believe. Player animation, same story. Needs to be after that. Yeah, okay. Now let's see. This is going to spam the console, but maybe I should do Yeah, I'll just spam the console. Did you see it airing? I had some kind of a facility reference loading. Couldn't load facility, something that popped up. Error loading facility 35. $35 being enchanted torch. Facility prefabs, facility slash facility dot string. It shouldn't be 35. It should be. Oh, I was not on beta, was I? No, that's my fault. Yeah, there's no. Never mind. Forget I said anything. The tower you had cleared. Okay. Anyway, let's figure out this speed problem so I can patch this in real quick before we move on to bug fixes. Towers are named with their owner to like 000 or something like that to make sure that anything in them is locked until it's set to not be. Oh, it did let you put it in there, huh? Did the wrong one here. I wanted Z. Hey Donna, thanks for the like. How you doing? When all mobs were dead and some alive. Yeah, look at that. I'm not even getting up to 1. It's going like 0.5, 0.4. It's mostly 0.4. And then when I click on myself, and for whatever reason, then it goes up to 1 right away. That's really weird. There is something interrupting this, though, that's not getting it up to 1 properly. It's supposed to move. Let's see. That's in update. Both an update and then fixed update has move, which makes use of the velocity being calculated by the handle input, supposedly. Why would we ever get to, let's see here. I suppose the problem is because we are setting x to be 0 here rather than grabbing it, calculating it based off of the current velocity. I believe I've already fixed auto run. I do know what you're talking about with the transmog too. I mean, I didn't know that was a problem, but I can 99% figure out what's wrong with that in my head. I'll go look at that here later. I just need to not be grabbing this. I need to store this. For example, cat in front of the keyboard. Can I just put this up here? Let's see, I don't want editor exposed fields. This is properties. I'll just toss them up here. Move X, move Z. Now, the reason for that is we want to be moving towards using acceleration. This is an update, so we're using delta time. And if we're not getting any input, we want to move back towards 0. And the other thing is here, else if, else move direction. This was working. We had our animations were not, this was, I don't think we had an else firing properly here. Yeah, we need an else in here. Might not be enough to just say else, but we'll give it a try. I'm thinking, cat, thank you, cat. Might need an auto run clause in here, but let's see. Basically, we want to be doing this. So in other words, if any of this stuff is open, we don't want to be moving, but that's not entirely true, because you can still run when the map's open, I'm pretty sure. So this is now unfortunately going to stop us when, okay, let's turn it off just for now. Go back and double check that we have fixed running really slow and auto run. And then we'll double check the animation getting locked when a window comes open. And actually, this does not include the map, so we would actually fire inside of this loop when the map's still open, I believe, is how that works. So that would be okay to turn that on. Broke up a cat fight with your hands. That's dangerous. Is that like outside stray cats? Okay, run is working properly. Let me put my sword away. Let me pull it back out. Okay, that was an unfortunate mistake. I did not pick up on just staring at the animations last night, really tired, at your desk. So is your own cats. Auto run is also working once again. Okay, and if we have the map open, we can still move around. But if we open tab, we cannot, and those are not triggering. So this is indeed, I believe, the correct move here. Pretty sure you're not able to auto run What are you doing, kitty? Quit trying to bury my food. What are you doing? Calming collar. Yeah, my cats don't get into serious fights. They did once. And they get into little tussles. But, yeah, it's, the hormones get to them sometimes. So, let's see. Auto run is still not working. We want to be moving. I guess we're actually not setting. We are. I want to turn that debug off first of all. If any of this stuff comes open, we just want to be moving back towards 0. And then the animator should be being fed those regardless. Is using those to calculate it, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, we want this in here too. Okay. I believe this will fix everything, and then I can put in a quick patch to beta, and I'm tempted to not even change Still wouldn't expect it to crash with just 4.3 gigs going. I didn't even have any coffee yesterday. Can you believe that? Okay, that's working now. Going back, and the animation stops. Likewise with console. Likewise with escape. However, you can still move with the map open, and run is working as expected. Jump is still, I think the jump is just too wussy is kind of the problem. What if I turn the jump up a little bit? Because these animations for the jump have been really hard to get correct. I think there's just not enough time in the air. Base jump height 1.5. That does not look like I'm going up 1.5. Well, maybe I am. Okay, never mind. Is it? I guess it just looks wussy when you're not standing next to something. He needs to like be moving his legs in and out faster though or something. Yeah, I tried messing with the jump quite a bit. but it's still pretty ugly. And I think I need to add directions, because like if you're running here and you jump, you have to like switch to looking forward, and it's pretty complicated stuff. This is what the animator looks like right now. And then these are all blend trees, so these are all the different directions and possible movement speeds that I've got applied to it. So you can only go backwards at walk speed, and then you can go forward in all direction at walk speed, or you can go in run speed. And then there's jump, falling, landing, swimming. It's quite complicated. But we'll get into that after we fix some bugs. First things first, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to... Fletch is still awake. Hopefully I can patch. I was going to just do a silent client patch, but I don't think I will. I think I will do a normal patch, which will take a little bit, which is always a little bit of a bummer. Because if I change this to, yeah, and you know what? Let's see if we can, well, yeah, I shouldn't mess with stuff while we're looking to push this live. We'll just go ahead and, let's go ahead and do it. 24th. Hopefully we catch Fletch before it goes to bed. So I'm going to patch this out and upload it, and then we're going to move on to, I'm actually going to make some little notes here. I want to fix, we did already do that. Okay, we're done with all of those. Got these, got that. Working on this. Don't have that yet, so we need to look at facilities locking in towers / can place on unowned towers. And I am currently working on animations. Primarily we want to work on jump and swim. I'm pretty sure the swimming transition is horrible. And then we're going to want to look at the combat animations a bit. I'm going to try and focus on animation here for a day or two, and then go into some UI stuff. But that doesn't mean I want to neglect bug fixes. Yeah. I made this face a lot at meetings in the company I used to work at. It's like, why don't you just not do that? But, what am I doing? Bug tracker. Sometimes people are coming up with ideas just so that they can come up with an idea. We used to have that too. We had, what was it? I don't remember the acronym. We had all that ISO certification jazz that I think every 3 months or every 6 months we had to have like a finished project to report our success about. But, it's like people would just come up with something to report and then spend a week on it just because they needed to report something that had to be new, and it's like, could have just been doing their job. I do need to look at the item editor too. Stribs has been hounded me for that, and I have not yet looked at it. Item editor. Looks like the sprite window is overlapping with the enum selector or something like that. Yeah, let's write that down too. Let's do harvesting animations, because those are horrendous. And we're going to want to get into a little bit of IK, I believe. Just inverse kinematics, something I do not use and should. You may not qualify your own requirements. Must be some strict requirements. Kind of wanted to take a picture. I was a bit confused by that report, to be honest. I shouldn't be doing this in non-beta, to be honest. Let's switch to beta. Spider helm. What's a spider helm? You mean like a spider silk hood? Is that a helmet that you made? Yeah, I don't have any spider helms. And that does make sense. That's never been brought up before, that if you make an custom armor item, the game wouldn't know how to give it a graphic, because those are based on the item. This is all going to be super slow, and I'm going to start dropping frames while Unity exports. Do you? Okay, I wasn't sure. I hadn't actually peeked at that recently. And I can't at the moment. need to fix those mouths hanging open too. It's not annoying until you notice it. Someone brings it up and then you're like, what is going on with their mouths being open all the time? Let's see, put my sword away. I think I'm going to take my helmet off. I don't have any boots on. My boots are maybe on my grave. No, maybe in my chest here. Well, that's interesting. It does speed up somehow. It's like speeds up and slows down again. Interesting. Well, that'll be patched shortly here. This is the current beta patch. I don't have any boots. I don't know where my boots went. Not a big deal. Anyway, I was just going to try and take a picture of myself running. I might even turn the crosshair transparency all the way down. I have been neglecting social media way too much for a while now, and it has impacted sales to the point that I need to be giving them some attention. I don't like just posting for the purpose of posting, though, you know. Some people are really good at that, and I know there's psychology behind it and all kinds of stuff, but it's just I'm not really into tricking people into liking my game just because I'm good at social media or whatever. But you do need to spend a little bit of time on it. Just thinking that I will have a small shot like this. I think that was a little better, actually. And later on I will post this to the webs. So I don't go entirely unnoticed. Oh, I meant to look at that, yeah. No, it did get... It's all out of whack, isn't it? There we go. What's that doing? Hi, kitties. Yeah, I think somebody jumped on it or something. There's so much script that sometimes I forget about something that I wrote or changed. So when you posted this spider helmet graphic bug, I was like racking my brain trying to remember. Was I like half done with a spider set somewhere that I forgot about? It made its way into the game somehow? Oh, I see what you mean. The not the no, I was thinking like the actual 3D model. You're talking about the icon. Okay. Let's go Unity. So you mean you've got icons on them when they're not level 0, tier 0? Like you've got other drops that have a proper icon on them, but then the level 0, tier 0 dropped with a pick, but the ones above it don't? Huh, that's interesting. I am on the other screen uploading the beta patch here. Sorry for yawning. I'm still, I got literally no sleep yesterday. I slept from like 1 to 4 or something like that p.m. because I got like 20 minutes of sleep at night. We had wind. I mean, I live on a river. It's totally calm today too, which is weird. Well, I said that and then the wind picks up. Because it's always windy here, and it's a windy city, and I'm in like the windiest part of it. And I'm right on a river, so it's even windier. We get big winds all the time, but it was just way worse than that. It was nothing like we'd ever had before. Big gusts would just pound the house like every 10 or 15 minutes. So even if I fell asleep, I'd wake up like in 5 minutes because our bedroom is on the end of the house where the wind hits. And it was just relentless. It was non-stop all night. My wife slept right through it, but I can't do that. Anything makes a noise and I wake up. Come 8 a.m. I was just a wreck, but still pretty tired, but at least I got some sleep. So when I do upload this stuff, it always logs me out of Steam. Not really sure why it has to do that, but I guess so. Let's go ahead and write up our little patch notes too. Let's see, we fixed auto run, not working. Fixed run speed, never reaching maximum. And I think that was it, right? Did we do anything else? Those were the two big main things I wanted to get out right away. Turned some debugs off was all, so yeah, this is all that we're doing here. Server upload will be next. It's currently exporting. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to have an icon based on the level or tier or anything. But it should just give it the question mark icon if it can't find something. It looks like the picture you posted, it's giving it a gray for some reason. That doesn't make sense to me, but obviously that's what it's doing. So we'll look at that. In the near future. I fixed all of these. Well, I should probably take another look at this. We did set up that whole category deal. No, I did fix this though, because these are going to be null. And, yeah, I'll take a second look at that later. Change the title to SP. Alright. Looks like meat is working as food. This was also fixed quite a while ago. Halfway done Unity, I think. Skinning knife is invisible. Yeah. I do want to look at that. So let's see again. We're going to want to look at facilities. I can peek at that stuff. It's just while this stuff is re-importing and re-exporting and stuff, it's going to refresh the solution a number of times. But I can still look at stuff. I don't want to be typing in Visual Studio while it does this is all, unfortunately. Stu is talking about yeah, I'm gonna need lots of coffee today. Player building, and we're gonna do command place facility. Just want you looking in current document. Don't really need a debug there. Again, I shouldn't be typing. It's just going to refresh this anyway. Transform collision. If collision equals null, it's not null. Then we'll get the object and test flatness, steepness. Resource scanners, facility, get the prefab. So yeah, it's currently not making any sort of check to see if that is your facility or not. Interesting. So you were able to place a facility onto a building you don't own, which is fine. It shouldn't be allowed for facilities that the system owns, though. I don't remember how many ounces, how much that is. 12 ounce. 12 ounce. Yeah, I can't remember ounces. We use milliliters over here. Liters and kilos and good old metric system. I can like feel the bags under my eyes. Like my eyes literally just hurt yesterday. I was so tired. Like all the meat around my eyes was just like in pain, which you can probably relate to, Art. Not surgery pain, but I don't know why that is either. You know, when you're tired and you get these puffy bags under your eyes, what's the purpose of that? What's the survival mechanism built into getting a puffy sack under your eye because you're tired? Doesn't sound useful. Is it getting better though, or? Are they just kind of throwing their hands up in the air? Interactable factility. This is the one script I have that's named improperly. That always bothers me, but I'm too scared to change it. I'm control clicking. Wake up. Wake up. There. You can do it. Text files, very difficult to navigate, I know. Unity just destroys the computer while it's doing some of this stuff for whatever reason. I've only got 6 cores, you know, it's clearly not enough. So if we're not in single player, which we are, you're talking about, your chests were in single player, right? If you are in single player, it shouldn't lock. Otherwise, if the I mean, even the fact that it lets you put it down there is a problem, but still. I'll have to play with it myself, I think. Yay, it finished. Alright. Run app build. Oops, I got that wrong. Scripts / this guy, server files. Once that is uploaded, I can log into Steamworks, which I can't show you. This is the fancy Steam uploader. It's just Steam command. This is used for a number of different things. You can launch dedicated servers with this guy and download old depots if you want to play an older version of a game that you like. I think most of that's made publicly available. You can even search through those somehow. And beta server is live and beta client is live. Let's inform Fletch. And let's restart Unity because it's going to be fussy. And I don't think I pushed that stuff. Nope. And we can push this live later, assumedly. Okay, so in the meantime, we'll work on some bug fixes. I'll spare you from watching me work on the animator. Yeah, Steam does have this new thing where you can quickly post a little news blurb, but I don't think I will make use of that just yet. So, do we want to look at facilities locking? I think we better look at the item editor first, because Stribs has been hounded me about that. I've even got a message from him again telling me to get on it. So let's see, we want to go into creative. Did I fix the creative button? I forget. Well, there was a creative backup, I think, is causing errors. I should try that. Yeah, I did fix the creative button. And we did make a item editor dealy over here. So let's see, I think he's like picking a type, and he's giving it an icon. And did he like click through it or something? Yeah, okay, so these are just like not, they're kind of, I mean, it's not a problem, but they're not churning on and off properly. It doesn't, but um, sometimes you have to close Steam and reopen it. Another thing you can do is right-click on the game and um, verify local files or whatever it's called, verify file integrity, and then that will force it to look at the checksum, and it'll realize that there's a patch. If you go to local files and you do verify integrity of game files, even if you don't let this finish all the way, it'll realize that there's something that's not correct. New games coming out every day. Or if you restart Steam, it'll kind of look through. It just doesn't seem to check on them maybe it's every 15 minutes it does a check on your library or something like that. So let's go to item UI modding UI item template editor. We've got the row parent button input. Let's see, I haven't worked on this in quite a while, but I believe we're probably going to be working with the row parent. Let's see, spawn this, spawn that. If current selection type equals sprite, it's going to spawn icon, or it's going to spawn selection. Spawn selection for each. Okay, so I think it's just not set parent should be storing these. I don't think we even have any lists set up, do we? List spawn selections, we do, but is that not getting used? We're attempting to destroy, but we're not actually adding anything to it when we do that. So this should be getting added to here. Spawn selections dot add, and it just wants the game object, so we can go ahead and do that. Likewise with the spawn icon, we can do the same thing. And now we should find that that works properly. I think that is all that he was concerned with. Item editor. He sent me some private messages too. Screen the icon pages over the carvings was totally messed up display. Kept return later to refresh the screen, but doesn't give you the progress already made. So yeah, it is just kind of continually reapplying that stuff. Of course, if you go ahead and just pick one, it should work as expected. Let's do also, let's say something like on enable or on disable. Void refresh. These are the spawned rows. Who actually calls refresh? We get it at the start. We get it after toggling something. We get it after clicking on a selection. Where was these guys? Spawn selections does not trigger a refresh. So I believe we probably don't want it there though. Let's go ahead and do a void. Whoops, that's not going to be enough there. Void on disable. And let's clear that stuff. Let's close those windows. And let's call a refresh. No, we don't need to call a refresh. We do want to close that window anyway, though. What is it called? Spawn selections, selection parent. Is that how I'm handling this in other situations? Yes, it is. As well as the scroll bar. Row parent, row scroll bar. We do want, now actually we want to turn those on at the same time as we turn these off. So let's put these to false. This is in the event of someone hitting escape, for example, while working on it. It'll close any queued up selections. And we probably have current selection row and some things as well that we could clear, but they'll re-trigger themselves properly if someone comes back to the window, and we can of course test that out too to make sure it's working as expected. So when we click on an enumerator, we get this kind of a selection. If we click on the icon, we see the background is now clear. These are all the currently used icons, and I've got about 700 million more of these that I could add in here. You know, that might be a thing someday here. But it does look like it's working properly, so it's no longer duplicating everything. My eyes hurt. I'm so tired. Anyway, we did want to see, what if I escape and I go back in? It has cleared. Yeah, so it should be working fine now. We're going to go ahead and call this 2.2, and I might patch this in tonight, but not necessarily. I'm going to be focused a bit on patching live to 2.1, which is going to take some version control merge shenanigans. But I won't do that on camera. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to close this down and fixed in 0.7.2.2. Let's say 4. People sometimes go looking for that immediately, thinking I just finished patching it in, which is not what I mean. This needs work, but what he's talking about here has been dealt with. It's not completely finished. Okay, so I looked at the item editor, that's fine. I did want to look at creative backup real quick, because I think that that is what some people had problems with they were getting an error when trying to back up a world. And I think it was actually only, in the event of creative. So this is actually my player name. I accidentally named him Creative World. So I want to back up Creative World and directory to copy not found. So yeah, how come it didn't actually give me that warning though? It's supposed to say something went wrong there. Anyway. Kick ass. I haven't looked at it in a day or two. I'll look at that in a bit here. Let's see. Got some bugs to fix. Create a backup. So basically, this method does not yet understand the difference between creative worlds and normal worlds. Yeah. We should, there should be, I mean, we need to make the help menu in general better. But yeah, putting a link to the wiki in game would definitely be worth it. Let's see. I'm just going to add a little debug in here quick. We should already know that we're in game settings.play mode. Just going to display creative. Even at this point, I believe. So basically what we want to do is not use saved world path. Where am I working on this? We do have, I believe we have a creative world path. Saved creative world path. So we just need to be doing, let's see. If game settings.play mode is equal to creative, in that case the path is actually equal to saved creative world path plus wname. I think that's actually all that we need. Let's see. Everything else is just based off of path. Yada 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 yada. Something went wrong. Yeah, we don't actually have an error showing up for that. It should. Let's see. Load warning, directory to copy not found. But that should all work as intended. Don't need these debugs, but we might as well leave them there because this is fine. Let's give that a try, and we should be able to mark that as good. Creative. Backup. Something went wrong. We are in creative mode. What went wrong though? Let's see. New path, copy path. Oh, did I get copy path? Who built the copy path? Copy path equals path plus 1. Oh, that should work. Our play mode debug did trigger, so it should know that we're in creative. Path equals saved creative world path plus w.name. Let's do let's debug our path. This is just going to add +1 to it. Maybe this is not getting set up properly. Where does that get set up? Yeah, that's not what we want to be using, is it? Come to think of it. Oh yeah, there it is. Create a world, save world path equals worlds. That's fine. Something went wrong. Didn't even get to the point of creating this. It's supposed to create that first. How come these other debugs aren't firing? Somebody suggested on Twitch that I play the game for an hour. Good old shark. I should do that someday. Have like a maybe Thursday mornings I play for an hour or something like that. Let's see what's going on here. Copy path. Directory exists. It should not exist. If directory exists, it's going to find a number for it. If it exists, it's going to do that. Otherwise, it's going to say directory copy not found. Something went wrong. Fired here, meaning that one of these two did not work. This is grabbing all of the directories within the original path. It's trying to create new folders. copy the files into. Something went wrong. Creative world. Knows it's there, but it's not getting to here. And let's see. We don't have the catch doing anything here. Let's do exception E. It recognized it, but it didn't do it there. Debug.log exception E, and then let's do plus e.stacktrace and see what that is giving us. I guess log exception doesn't want to do that, does it? Debug.log error with the stack trace, please. I don't really need that, to be honest. Let's do E dot, I think it's warning. No, what is it? Error? No, what is it? Data, help link, inner exception, message. There we go. Getting those lemons. Oh man, you need a better sickle there. Destination directory not found. See, that's what I was getting at. I'm not seeing anywhere that's actually creating the path. If directory exists, for each directory in it, copy path, but nothing's actually making the copy path. However, this does work when we're not in creative mode, doesn't it? I haven't messed with this at all in a long time. Single player, malcare, let's say backup dungeon test. Copy generated, that works fine. Copy generated. Gets triggered properly. I'm confused as to why this would not work in creative mode when it works in other modes. Copy path is just path plus 1. And that's all that we're using here. We never use saved world path again anywhere in here. It's all based off of path. Saved creative world path, which we had debugging properly. Users malc app data local big kitty games Solace Crafting creative world. So we can see there destination directory not found. Creative world with the hyphen. Which again, I understand, but how come it works when we're not in creative mode? Is what has me a bit confused. Get directories within the path. We don't ever have anything that's actually creating the path, though. Is it prior to this getting called? Confirm backup world. No. Well, if we add that, directory dot create directory, copy path is all I think that we're missing. And then it's just going to copy all of the directories into there, and it's going to change the world data to be inclusive of the new bracket 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever it needs. Now that worked fine, but directory to delete not found. That's a good point. That's probably the same thing. Single player, what happens now if I go to back up one of these guys? He worked fine as well. Like I say, it's just weird that that worked at all in the first place, to be honest. Anyway, same story. We just need to do if game settings.play mode is equal to creative, then our path is actually going to be saved creative world path. It's the only difference there. And we are going to delete it. Update world, we're going to want to do that too, huh? Let's see, world path. If game settings dot play mode is equal to play mode dot creative. Same story. Saved creative world path plus W. That should all work fine now. Item template editor we fixed. Alright, and I want to make sure I write that stuff down because I always forget what I did hours later. Fixed item template editor in creative mode. Not properly clearing certain selection windows post-selection, if that makes sense. Hope it does. And we also just fixed Creative Worlds not backing up, updating, deleting properly. Okay. And let's go ahead and just test that out real quick to make sure we can now delete that one that we made. There we go. And I don't need this either. And yeah. I've got a bunch of outdated worlds here too that I don't need anymore. These are using the old compression method, so they just don't work anymore at all. We don't want them to. And I still have that plugged into the project for some reason. I should remove that one of these days, but anyway. I actually need to go to the bathroom and maybe get a coffee. So I'm going to AFK just for a few minutes here, and I will be right back. Thank you, Art. I forget to do that all the time. I did not unmute. Been talking to myself. What's happening, KZ? I'm looking at the mouth open thing here because I know that that bothers people, and rightly so. Sorry, Moggs. Yeah, I do that all the time. I turn it off so you don't have to listen to me running around in the background while I'm AFK. And then I come back and I forget all about it. So yeah, it's just, I mean, I know that the package here that I'm using, I know that it's got expression support. So you can actually, and I was making faces on camera too without voice. So that's great. I've just never messed with them. So I don't actually know quite exactly where they are supposed to be accessed. So we can see, what do we got here? Upper lip, adjust, lips superior. I don't know what this stuff is. Right lip superior. But I don't think this is actually how I want to go about it. I'm assuming there's a better way. For example, I've got the dynamic character avatar. Referenced eventually. It's not actually referenced right here, but I should still be able to access the IntelliSense. So the dynamic character avatar dot, let's see, like I want to get into the expression stuff. I think I just called it avatar. Yeah. Avatar dot expression set expression set. Sets the expression set for the avatar based on the avatar set race. So this is based on the race, huh? Maybe I should be looking at the race settings, which I think I can actually access via here. I can't actually click on it, which is what I wanted to do. Race library, human male. Come on, take me to it. UMA content, UMA core, human male. UMA core, was it content core? UMA core, human male, race data, human male, wardrobe slots, converter list, ranges. Human male base recipe expression set. I think this is what I want. Where is that? Male expression set. Is that under here, I suppose? Male expression set. These don't look like settings. I guess they are, though. Tongue up. Tongue down. Left mouth smile. Right mouth smile. You can see why I have not bothered to get into this mess. What do we want? Neck, head, jaw open, jaw close. These are expressions. Male poses. Oh, it's actually got... So I need to tell it to just close the jaw somehow. Somehow the default is set to open, I believe. Expression set. It's in here. I just need to set it somehow. Avatar dot, what was it? Set expression set. Sets the expression set. That's not quite what I want to do. Avatar dot active race dot expression, no, dot race data dot expression set dot, what can I do? Pose pairs, set dirty, restore bones, get animated bones. Ugh. I bet there's an example of how to do this. I've never seen this before. I'd rather just move the bone, to be honest, if it's gonna be so convoluted. Upper lips adjust, lip superior. I don't know what that means is all. Let's see if we can't actually look at what these bones are. Lips superior. That does look like it's up. But this guy is also upper lip. Where is the lower lip? How am I not seeing that? Is it just chin? Lip superior. What are these? Right lip superior middle. I'm not seeing a chin. Spine, neck, head. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff under these two. Nose base, lip superior, nose, head adjust, left ear, nose top, right cheek, nose middle, left eyebrow, left cheek, mandible. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. Mandible adjust, tongue, right lips inferior, left lips maxillary. Somebody got really creative with this stuff. Right lips inferior. I mean, it works, but there's got to be an easier way to do this, right? Lips inferior, adjust. Can you just go up a little bit there, please? So your mouth isn't hanging open. I have to do all of these at once. Lips inferior, adjust. Ugh. I'm not glad that I got into this. Inferior, inferior, inferior. Does that look semi-normal? It's easy, pal. Slowly, slowly. Okay. How much did I change these? Yeah, I don't know why that's set to be open. Anyway, looks like I moved them up about 0.25. No, 0.025. I only moved them up a tiny bit. Are you kidding me? Oh no, it's moving on a different axis here. The local axis is all messed up. Okay, we're moving on the Z. So I moved Z up about 0.0085. We better write this down. Lower lips, Z plus 0.0085. And now I want to move we're here now, right? I want to move the upper lips. No, what is it going to be? Maxillar? No, it's not maxillar. Right lip superior. I think this is what we're looking for. And then there's a lip superior too. So right lips, left lips. Move you guys all down a little bit. And now he looks a little bit. I mean, it's better, right? At least his mouth isn't open. Alright, let's see how much I changed that. We went to 0.0066 from mostly 0. Upper lips Z minus 0.0. That was another 0 in there, wasn't there? 0.66. .0066, right? And these ones went, not you, inferior went 0.085, yeah, okay. So now I can just grab those at the start of spawning. His cheeks look terrible too. I believe I've got a little helper method for this actually. What is it called? Path lookup? How does that work? On start. Very good. So what this little tool is going to do for me is give me the whole path for these little objects here. I want left, I want right, and I want I better do all of these. Let's see. Left lips inferior adjust, lips inferior adjust, right lips inferior adjust. Okay, so we want all three of those. Let's go into player avatar. Not going to be doing that fancy stuff there. Late update. Wonder if it's going to reset that stuff every time. We'll have to check on that. Wait for load while blah blah blah. On character updated. Update boots, draw, let's see. No, Ismail, draw timer, sheath. This is a big script. I believe we're only needed up here at the top somewhere though. Force reload, setup. We have to wait for it to grab this. Let's try and put it in here. So we want to do transform, just say lips for now, equals transform dot find, something like that. So it's going to be left lips inferior. And we're going to want a number of these. Lips inferior. Oops. And right lips inferior. So this is going to be lips, this is going to be right, that's going to be left. And semicolon has to go at the end. And we're also going to want the superior. So these three, we'll get a path lookup. I'll just clear those ones. Path lookup and path lookup. Lip superior. Let's grab this one first. Yeah. This is lips superior. And then we're going to do right and left as well. I do want to just move away from this whole system, to be honest. It was really useful back in 2017 when I started all of this, but it has since grown quite outdated. People complain that you can't make beautiful looking women or men, and I understand that. They get a little bit silly too. I don't mind letting them go silly a bit, but yeah, again, it's just a bit of an outdated system by now. Wasn't a lot of other ways to go about it. Not too many years ago, though. So, let's see now. li.translate, and I want to go relative to itself. I want to go on a new vector 3. We're moving in the z, so we want to go 0, 0, and these are the lower lips, so we want to go plus 0085. Space dot self, I believe, is what we're looking for. We'll do that on the right and the left. And we're going to do very similar down here. These ones are going to be going minus 6, 6, right? Again, self, right lip superior, left lip superior. Let's see how that works. And it might reapply that bone data every time we ask it to force update. So we'll have to check on that, but I don't think so. And if these are wrong, it'll throw us an error that it can't find them. This should only happen once at the start when the player spawns, though, and then they'll just keep their mouth shut. It's not a nice thing to say. Keep your mouth shut. Instead of running around with their mouth open all silly like that. Let's see what he looks like. Nope, mouth is still open. Huh. So we might have to be doing this, and I can of course improve this, but let's just use it as is for now till we get it working. Then we can improve it to not be so intense. I think we're just not subscribing to this anymore. Force reload, build character, force update. Avatar needs updating equals false. I think we're just not subscribing to any of this stuff anymore. Which we might need to. Another way to go about this would be to look at it frame by frame as it loads and see if that is the case or not. Load recipe from string. Start coroutine, wait for load. If it is the local player, we're not waiting for load. I'm looking for where this gets set up. So if we are the local player, we call load recipe from string. We set avatar needs updating to true. I thought we had to wait for that to render a frame or two before we issued those commands. I guess not. So let's try moving this stuff over here. And I believe that this is not... We'll give it a try. And I think I am going to go frame by frame. Once we see that it has started loading the world, I'll throw it a pause. And we should find that Malcare has not loaded in yet. I'll give it another frame. And Malcare is attempting to load in now. But his render is not yet active. Give him another frame, and another frame, and another frame. There's his sword. And at some point here, he will turn on. Hello. Well, that didn't work, but... And his mouth is still open. I want to say that we should be doing this here. but I'm unsubscribing from it here. Let's see, wait for load. Let's say we do, for example, on character updated 2, and I'm not going to do any of this. I'm going to do this stuff. Mining animation strikes diagonal to side now. Well, data equals null. Probably going to need that too, because that's not immediate. Let's do wait for load 2. While data equals null. On character updated plus equals on character updated 2. Right. And we're going to call that not only when we are wait for load, let's do an else. Actually, I think we will want that in all instances. Wait for load 2. And let's see what art is talking about with some of these animations. That looks pretty normal. See if I can find a... Yes, I can. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? His hand is different. That's unfortunate. That's what I'm planning to work on as soon as we can get some of these bugs out of the way for today, though. Like I say, I've been trying to make Tuesday my bug day. And yesterday I got ruined. So I'm doing bugs today. And then we'll get back into animations. Getting their hands to hold the tools properly and getting those tools to come down and swing properly. And that animation pack I've got, I believe it's got 5 stars, but they're really very poor animations. I mean, there's a big set of them. There's like 190 of them or something, so it's a good price. I think it's like $50 or something for tons of animations, but they're actually really pretty low quality. Let's see, what do we there? My mouth is closed. Yay. So I think this is going to be all right to go from now on, even if I like change stuff. So that was the problem, is whenever it updates, I'm kind of frowning, but let's go get the sun a little bit here. I can't see my face. There we go. I'm an EverQuest erudite. I didn't want you to turn around there, but do what you gotta do. So it's actually the helmet that's making my head cave in like that funkily, huh? That's interesting. When I change my clothes, it forces a rebuild, but you can see my mouth is still closed. So that is an improvement, no doubt. So every time, yeah, I guess we do want to, let's see, on character updated 2, let's see, wait for load 2. So we'll wait for that to load, and we're actually going to want to store these so that they're not getting recreated. It doesn't have to look for them every time the character changes, which is, it's a nanosecond operation, but still bad practice when you can just store a reference to it once and not have to regather it every action you take. So So we'll put these as variables within the scope of the class, so it only has to declare them once. And we will declare them or not declare them, we will assign them after grabbing the data for the first time there. And from then on, we will use those references to get out of that open mouth funk. Now, this could still bring up some problems, so let's see if we can't break it. I'm going to make a new character with a giant head. I'm going to make their head as big as possible. But I think it'll still work because the scale is all inherent. It'll just inherit the bone scales, not necessarily needing new numbers, because that'll be the local position. It might though, we'll see. So I'm going to make a new character. We'll go female this time, and I'm going to make her head giant and wide, and cheeks and low cheeks, and low cheek position should maybe be, let's, oh, that button isn't working. That's supposed to have a little animation, and I need to fix their eye colors too. I know that's a problem. Mandible size, there we go. Giant jaw, big jaw. Jaw position we'll put as low as possible. Okay. Upper body, that shouldn't matter. We'll call her square face, which is a bit of an inside joke if any of my friends are watching this. I won't go into, because it was the cruel antics of teenage boys. And let's take a my mouth is super open. So yeah, I'm gonna need to maybe be scaling those off of, let's see. I mean, that could almost get me in trouble right there. Square face, root, global position, hips, lower back, spine, neck, head, right lip, superior, middle. So these are all I mean, she's got an underbite. It's not a big deal, but so the head is scaled up, you can see. If we change the head scale back down to normal, and let's say what else did we changed a bunch of her cheek scale and stuff. Let's see if we can spot any of that in here. No, and I can actually change that on her DNA settings here. So let's say we go put all of these back to 0.5, jaw 0.5, head 0.5, 0.5. Which is it that is doing that for her all crazy like? Mandible size 0.5. There we go. So do we need to scale those numbers based on her mandible? It looks like it's just the lower lip, actually. Silly, silly, silly. Kind of don't really even like to be spending time on this, to be honest, but it is kind of gross and annoying when their mouth is just hanging open like that. Let's go ahead and let's do float. Let's say mandible multi equals 0.5 by default. Oops, that's a point. And we're going to want to grab that. So after the data becomes available, we're going to want to, let's see, mandible multi equals data dot get DNA how do we apply these in the Avatar UI? Avatar creation DNA. We are looking at the mandible, mouth, chin, eyes, head, mandible size slider. Why do these have capitals? This was built so long ago. On value changed, on mandible size change. All DNA mandible size, there we go. Mandible size, and all DNA is going to be just built off of that get DNA. I only need the one. Did this have a string input value? It did not. So it wants me to put an integer in there. I don't know what the integer is. So let's do get, or do we actually want, I guess we want the avatar. Avatar.get all DNA. Yeah, that works. We only need it once. So that's going to be a dictionary like this, DNA setter. Equals get DNA. Or wasn't it get all DNA? Was it just get DNA? Get DNA, okay. And now mandible size multi is going to be equal to all DNA dot, no, at index mandible size. Correct? That's going to be a DNA setter, so we actually want the value of that, like so. Mandible size, was that correct? Find mandible. Mandible size. Okay, should be good. That will give us our multi. We only need to do that once, and then we're going to, these are the inferiors. Let's move them underneath just because I like to organize stuff from right to left, top to bottom. So these are the lowers. They're moving up, and let's do times mandible multi. And I'm not sure that that is going to be enough, but yeah, and actually no, that wouldn't be, because 0.5 was the base. So 0.5 we would want to be 1, so let's do, Do we want to do 0.5 here, so we get a total of 1, and then we're multiplying it by 101.5 in the event of 1, or is that not enough? We'll have to just see. already 11:30. I need to go to the store big time. I hate to go to the store right at lunch, but what are you gonna do? Squareface. Could go in the opposite direction too, of course. And we could expose that mandible multi variable to try and get that working better. So again, if we're at 0.5, it looks pretty good. 6, 7, 8 just gets worse and worse. If we are even lower, she's going to go into a crazy underbite, which is still way better than a giant open mouth. I guess what's actually going on here is that just her lips sticking out all crazy? Rather than her mouth being open? It's kind of a combination of both there. Let's close some of this stuff up so I don't have to look at it. Network identity, network transform, sphere collider. I like to leave open player mounts. UMA data. I wanted to look at the player avatar. It's probably way at the top. Audio source. Rigid body we can close. Player avatar. Debug. We've got our mandible multi is at 1. I think that's still just clearly not quite enough. How much of not enough is it though? We're looking at the, was it under mandible? Yeah, there it is. Mandible. So this is all based on the position of this guy. Left lip inferior adjust. We moved it up 0.066. We've also got the right inferior and the lips inferior. So these three we moved all up a little bit. 0.0066 or so. You can see that is going out kind of a bit too much because of her underbite. What if that was more like 7, not quite enough? How about like 1? That is a crazy, crazy underbite, but still way better than a giant open mouth. So, from 0.0066 to 0.016. We could even go a little bit further than that, maybe. 0.25 would be a closed mouth. So our range is 0.65, let's say, to, or what is that, 0, and then this was, what was it, I already forgot, 0.025. So that's a range of 0.0185. I already closed it down. In the event that we're going backwards, it kind of just ended up getting an overbite, which wasn't so much of a problem. So let's say our mandible multi, we actually want to be let's do a math function absolute. No, actually, I want to do a clamp 0 to 1. And I want to grab the value and I want to subtract 0.5 from it. So this will give me 0 in the point that it is at 0.5 or lower. And then I'm going to multiply it times 2. So this will give me 0.5 to 1.0 now being 0 to 1. And then I'm going to multiply that times 0.0185. So now we will be within our range. And then I'm going to add the base of 0.0065 to that, like so. So now we should find ourselves within this range. And we're going to want to translate our lower lip based on that, not actually using the multiplier, but the direct result, like this. And I believe that will give us a closed mouth regardless of our mandible size. Of course, I'm not going to be able to update this in runtime because I'm only grabbing this at the beginning. So if I change her mandible size forcibly in runtime, it's not going to display as expected. And what about in the character creator UI? When you're adjusting the mandible size in there, is their mouth hanging open in there the whole time? I don't remember that being a thing. And my mouth is actually still totally open. That's not what I was expecting. Hold on a second. Mandible multi, oh yeah, it would go down to 0. No, yeah, 0. Well, if it was 0 at 0.5, we would still get this. This would all result in 0, maximum of 1. Let's see, in her case, neck, head, mandible. I guess I just wanted to look at her actual mandible size, which is now, and I don't want to be in debug anymore. Go back to normal. UMA data. Mandible is at a full up 1. So this is getting clamped 0 to 1. We're getting -5, so we should be at 0.5. 1 minus 0.5 would be 0.5 times 2 would be 1, which would then give us this, and then we would add 0.0065 to that to come up with 0.25. Should be what we're finding our left lip inferior, but it is not. We've moved this one up 0.25. I think this is what we wanted to move, wasn't it? Inferior, adjust. Yeah, these don't look like they've gone up that amount though. We should be able to also switch back to debug and look at her. Don't need all of these open. Mandible multi 0.0065. That's not what we would expect. How did that happen? On character updated 2. We probably needed this in there. I might need to wait for the character to load once before I can actually get the proper amount here. It looks like it's grabbed the default setting there, unfortunately. So we want to move this, I think, down to here, and let's put its default to -1, which should be impossible to get to. So we can add a little check down here and say if the mandible multi is less than 0, then go ahead and figure out the correct value for it. Otherwise, we've already figured it out, and we can stick with what we've got. I believe might still grab, yeah, before the data gets applied. Might have to do this a few times. This is going to trigger once when the character loads, and then we're going to apply the avatar recipe to it, which is going to trigger it again. So it's going to grab the default value of 0.5 once, and we need it to go back and check. I mean, it's a tiny operation, honestly. It's not a big deal. But it would be nice to avoid calling it over and over and over. Hi, kitty. How are you doing? I don't think this is going to fully solve that problem, though, because of the default value existing. We probably only need to call it twice, though. That is another way we could do it. Just set up a... I still don't really like that, but perhaps unavoidable. If, not if, let's do an int reload counter equals 0, and we'll go ahead and put that back to 0.5, and let's say if reload counter is less than 2, we'll go ahead and grab that, and we'll do reload counter plus plus. Let's go ahead and do 3. So we can assume that after this has been called 3 times, we don't have to check it anymore. And likewise, yeah, and we're doing this even if you're not local. So this should work in multiplayer as well. I think, let's give that a try. See how our eyes are blue too. That's getting applied to the... Again, I don't really want to mess with this too much because I'm hoping to migrate away from this system completely, which is going to be quite a bit of work. Maybe not, but probably. And there's going to be some money involved in it too. I'm going to have to buy some new models, this and that. But ultimately, we should be able to get a better system going. So we want to try Squareface once more. See if that multi is getting grabbed properly now. And there we go. That does look a lot better. Let's try and make someone in the reverse just to make sure. We've already tried Malcare's at just plain 0.5. All I did was change his colors, which I do kind of like to do, like this. And let's turn her mandible size all the way down. And there are people like this in the world. I've seen them with my own eyes. And isn't that funny that it doesn't, their mouth isn't open here. That's weird, but anyway. So I'm going to do her mandible size all the way to the bottom. And that really seemed to be the only thing that mattered. So let's call her round face. And accept and begin. Apologies for yawning again. And yeah, I mean, it looks weird, but if you make your character with the minimum mandible size, you should expect it to look weird. At least her mouth isn't hanging open all funky. She's just got a massive, massive overbite, which is fine if that's how you want to build them. So no more open mouths. That's a good thing, because that was weirding people out. And kind of, yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Let's see, we don't need you. We are now working on a new beta branch, 2.3. Is that all that I changed? I'm going to have to switch back to production here and merge all of the changes on the beta branch into production. And that is going to need to be gone over with a bit of a fine comb. Start UI. Oh no, I'm still working on this guy, I guess, huh? So, fixed. Player mouth is hanging open. So this is where we're currently at on 2.2. All I did was open this. I didn't actually want to change anything. I'm going to discard that to make sure that nothing does get changed there. And let's go ahead and see if it tries to re-import that. Chunk somehow got multi-threaded, which only happens in the editor. And once more, you're good. You're good. We're going to refresh, and you're good. Okay, so stage all of that. We will push all of this. I will switch back to production. And now we're going to want to merge all of this stuff into beta. And there's definitely going to be some conflicts. Hopefully nothing too confusing. New sprites, new recipes, new animations. I've still got a bunch of sounds queued up to be added in I haven't gotten to yet. all kinds of stuff to do. Merge conflicts. Main UI.prefab. We are most certainly going to want to resolve using theirs. So we want the beta prefab. Likewise with Cora, this is the main world using beta. Camera fog. Game settings. Yeah, we're going to want to use theirs. And I'm just going to have to change those numbers. Turn beta off. Let's actually do that real quick so I don't forget about it. Beta is false. Just kidding. Version control is not going to like that. Yeah, we'll just leave that alone for a second. Camera fog, what do we got here? We have turned this off. We just removed the update completely instead of only the stuff inside of it. That is acceptable. We'll use the beta green version there. And build settings doesn't matter. This is just the export script. We can go ahead and use theirs as well. Merge branch beta into production. Okay, so this should do everything. We had some weird effects last time we did this, where some of these environment prefabs did not come in properly. So I'm going to want to take a peek at some of that real quick, but we should be good. And again, I just want to change this to false, and that should be it. It's going to want to re-import a bunch of stuff now. And I can now patch this live. Once I want to peek at the weather a little bit, make sure the animations all came in fine. Something stuck in my throat. All seems well. Fix that and do have some new stuff here. Materials. I thought that I deleted all of that. Looks like there are some extra stuff in the root folder that I have not been looking in. In place materials. Yep, we don't need any of that. And root motion materials. Don't need you either. Just the animations, thank you. And that should be good for a push. This is 2.1. It is the 24th. I clicked commit, but it didn't register. There we go. And we should be good to go. Alright, I'm going to push all of these changes to Bitbucket. Make sure that we've got backups. I've got a local backup that triggers every day here in half an hour at 12:30 while I eat lunch. Copies everything to a folder that is synced to Google Drive as well. So I've got Bitbucket, I've got Google Drive, I've got local on 2 different hard disks because I have lost data before, and let me tell you, it's not fun. If you're doing anything related to programming or game development, you want to be making backups. Where do I have that actually? Is it on the desktop? I've got a little... No, I doubt it's on the desktop, but I doubt it's in here too. Let's see, Solace Crafting. I've got a little bat file somewhere that just triggers a copy all if anything has changed. I forget how it works. Like, it looks at the differences between the... Yeah, it compares the working folder to the copy folder, file by file, and if it finds that the modified date is different on any of the working files, it copies them over top of the copy folders, you know what I mean? It only moves modified files, so it doesn't copy the whole thing over because it's like 50 gigabytes. But it copies any changes it finds every day at 12:30, and then those changes get synced to Google Drive, which I pay like $250 a month or something for 100 gigabytes. So I've got extra backups and extra backups on top of backups. The Bitbucket data here. Good morning, Turbo. You caught me just as I'm signing off here, I'm afraid. Gotta go get some lunch. But the Bitbucket stuff here is only actually pushing larger stuff, or smaller stuff, like the scripts, sprites, textures. This is not a complete backup. This is just version control stuff. So you do definitely want to be keeping some hard backups. But yeah, just signing off for lunch. For the rest of today, I'm afraid. Turbo, good to see you again. Come join us in Discord if you've got anything that needs covering. Thank you for the reports, Stu. And KZ and everybody. We will be back tomorrow at 9 for another 3 hours of... I think tomorrow we are going to be working on animations, probably. Probably some bug fixes I should be working on today. But, yeah, I've still got another 4 hours of work after lunch, so... Yeah, I'm just stalling because I want to click the end stream button and go get a sandwich. So I'm going to do that. Might even have to take a nap today because I am still pretty beat from yesterday. But thanks again.